With CM Punk's AEW future in question and more, this is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Speaking about the negotiations with AEW for a new contract, Jim Ross revealed on his podcast, "I don't have any intention of changing my employer at all. I like working for AEW. I like working with these talents. I really enjoy being on Collision because I think we're trying to develop a little different feel for the TV presentation. Not better than Dynamite, but different than Dynamite. So my plan is to continue in some role, and that's entirely up to Barry Bloom, my agent, and of course Tony Khan. They hold the cards, they're doing the negotiating. So my goal is to stay in AEW and contribute and help wherever I can. I like working with Kevin Kelly and Nigel McGuinness, and that's always fun. I was very impressed with Ian Riccaboni. Really good young announcers, so hopefully everything will work out okay. We'll know in a few weeks, that's for sure." Recalling his time as a crash test dummy for The Rock, Brian Myers told Sam Roberts, "I was on the train to go on a date with now wife, and Johnny Ace was calling me, and I'm like, oh no, this can't be good because I'm like jabroni Kurt Hawkins doing nothing. He's like, hey, hold on, they're patching in Joe Hennig, and I'm going, what on earth could be going on now? And then he explained to us that Hunter decided that we would be the best candidates to be his training guys. It was pretty crazy. We were like his secret agent crash test dummies. The travel agent would just call you at the drop of the hat and be like, Dwayne wants to train tomorrow. He's in New Orleans. Here's a 7 a.m. there and a 7 p.m. home. You just go and there'd be a ring set up in a warehouse." Saying this about possibly having a future verbal showdown with The Rock, LA Knight said to TalkSport, "If such an opportunity arises, we've got to incorporate some physicality, don't we? I don't mind dropping The Rock on his head. I owe him one from about 10 years ago when he hit me with 'it doesn't matter' 10 years ago, so I owe him a little something." Defending his decision to only have one match at the All-In event, AEW President Tony Khan said during the post-show media scrum that a lot of the card tonight was featuring as many of the top stars in AEW as I could get, so a lot of the biggest stars in the company were not on this show, and that's why we have big matches like Miro versus Powerhouse Hobbs, and obviously Ruby Soho versus Chris Statlander next week. I think the pacing of the show tonight was probably the best we've ever had, the best show we've ever done, so to add more I think would have been challenging. But also, we have so many great stars across both the men's and women's divisions, great wrestlers. I think the card in many ways I tried to pace it perfectly, and I think we did pretty great. One thing I would note, and you said it yourself, a lot of the card was paying homage to the original All In. The four-way match, Dr. Britt Baker participated on the original All In, and that was the key women's match on the original show, and Madison Rayne pointed that out in her commentary as well, that she was also in that original four-way, and Dr. Britt Baker participated. I had the Golden Elite in a trios match, kind of a callback to the original All In, and definitely there were a lot of top stars, men and women. I was hoping to get on tonight's card, and there were a lot of people that wanted to be on the show, and I hope we can continue to get all the top stars in, but also I want to pace the shows and be able to have great matches without having to rush through. So I was really excited about the card, and also very happy for Saraya. I thought it was a great moment, and I would love to try and get some of those top stars on All Out, and also next year's All In. As her time in WWE has seemingly come to an end, Ronda Rousey may be interested in a UFC return, with the Daily Mail claiming. The source said that Rousey enjoyed her time on the show, and with the likely influx of reality programming coming up in the next few months, she's looking into those opportunities. However, one thing that might put her UFC and screen dreams on hold is having another child. She has a 1-year-old daughter with a retired fighter husband, Travis Brown, but another child could be in the pipeline, as she would love to try for one more, the source said. She really wants to do it all career-wise, but in the next few months, don't be caught off guard that she is having another kid, because that is something she feels is one of the most important things to happen for her again. Speaking of comebacks to the Octagon, UFC President Dana White was asked about Brock Lesnar returning for UFC 300. He told Sports Illustrated, "Brock looks good, doesn't he? He always does. I think Brock's done. I don't think he ever comes back." Bringing up his historic reign as Intercontinental Champion, the Honky Tonk Man told High Spots, "It's been interesting. I haven't really kept up with it. I didn't know a lot about it. Fans ask me about it all the time. I don't know where someone is posting this 453 days. They're shorting me 1 day, and that's not fair. I got the 454 days from Howard Finkel. He was the one who told me." During a tribute to Bray Wyatt at a WWE live event, Seth Rollins said this to fans in attendance.
Every time I do my entrance and the song comes out.
For another live event, Seth Rollins would take on Finn Balor, where a table spot would not go according to plan. With it having been reported that Kairi Sane is set to return to WWE in the near future, Ringside News gave an update writing, "The WWE rumor mill has been churning with Kairi Sane's name for a minute now. We have reached out and were able to confirm that her name is coming up in creative meetings. We can't spoil any plans for her, but there is a reason why her name is coming up regarding a WWE return." Staying on the topic of potential returns to WWE, Steve Carrier mentioned this about Carlito. Carlito returned to WWE at Backlash, but it wasn't anything long term. We asked around about his current status, and we are told that Carlito has been mostly down in Orlando working with character vignettes at the WWE Performance Center. Breaking her silence following an appearance at AEW's All-In event in London, Mercedes Mone wrote on social media, "Wrestling is not a love story, it's a fairy tale. Everyone is different, everyone is special." Following his loss of the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship to EC3 at NWA 75 Night 2 in a bull rope match, Tyrus will retire, as he pledged to do prior to the bout if he came up short. In some unfortunate news, the grandmother of Top Dolla passed away. As he wrote, "Rest in peace to my grandmother Pat. She's in a better place now. She's been sick for years and can finally enjoy her peace with my mom and grandfather." Of course, we wish Top Dolla and his family all the best during this time. Touching on the possibility of Edge joining AEW after having his final match in WWE, Gangrel said on his Fangin' and Bangin' podcast, "I just think, why would Edge join AEW? That's all. He's Edge. What else are you gonna do? You're Edge. You're one of the greatest human beings in the world. I don't want to see him go there and become like how everybody looks at CM Punk or everything. It seems like it's turmoil and chaos, but maybe he can turn all that around." Talking about CM Punk allegedly having the power to decide who is booked for AEW Collision, Eric Bischoff noted on his podcast, "If it happens to be true, what in the name of who's running that company? Is Tony Khan this little dweeb that just is in love with CM Punk and is letting a talent dictate how Tony runs the business he's invested upwards of $100 million in? What? How does this happen? This guy is, if any of this is true, I blame it all on Tony Khan. He's a bitch. He's letting CM Punk run roughshod over everybody in the company. I don't see AEW having any kind of real future if indeed this is true." mentioning the backstage altercation that took place at All In between CM Punk and Jack Perry. It was said on House of Wrestling that Punk was waiting in the gorilla position before the show went live for his match against Samoa Joe when Perry entered the area and walked up to him. Punk initiated the verbal exchange between the two, asking Perry if he had something to say, and the conversation quickly escalated, leading to Perry asking Punk to do something about it. This is when Punk shoved Perry. Perry responded by shoving Punk back, and then Punk put him in what is being described as a chokehold. We're told Punk viewed putting Perry in a chokehold as a way to neutralize the situation, as he's a trained fighter and does not want to have to fight Perry. No punches were thrown as far as we know. Giving more details on that previously mentioned physical altercation, Brian Alvarez noted on Wrestling Observer Radio, CM Punk goes to the backstage area and immediately there is security there, and security escorts CM Punk back to his dressing room. Jack Perry was then told to leave and he was removed from the building. CM Punk stayed in his dressing room with security for I'm not sure how long, but eventually security came and removed him from the building. For more information on this altercation, Brian Alvarez wrote that the belief within AEW is that Punk and Jack are both suspended pending the result of an investigation, which would mean neither will work all out. Wade Keller of PW Torch added that in the aftermath of the incident between CM Punk and Jack Perry last night, that Punk, in the heat of the moment, was threatening to quit AEW over his frustration with everything that happened. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.